G'day everybody. It's now after work and I'm on location at Camp Cable. This place has changed a hell of a lot. This has been heavily cleared through here. This fence was never here. Right where I'm standing now is a part of the old road. It's been diverted, and literally right where this lump of crap is where I found a coin from New Guinea and a coin from Burma. I think it was the Burma one, I believe, right here. So there was an encampment down here, and here's sort of some of the pine trees that are still left from when it was a pine plantation. Now I'm going to zoom in a little bit, and inside that tree line you may be able to make out that there's some lantana in there. What I used to do is, when I'd come metal detecting in here looking for stuff, was wherever I'd find heavy concentrations of lantana, that's where I'd go and look, and it almost gave me good luck every single time. So whether that means there was other people not metal detecting there because of the lantana, or whether, I'm just not sure, but it used to bring me good luck. So anyway, I'll stop at a few more spots around the traps here and get a little bit of footage of what used to be Camp Cable. Righto, where I am now, this is one of the areas that there used to be along here, probably every 50 or 60 meters or so, up until about a football field down that direction. There used to be concrete pads where there must have been sort of buildings and things like that, and just where that pile of timber is over there, maybe not quite that far, where those cows are, if you come back straight along here, this is where we this is where I mentioned about a gate, and this is where we found a whole heap of stuff. And this is where we found the Tommy gun magazines, the 1911 magazines, a couple of my best badges and things were found just around here. Lots of buttons, lots of stuff. Now where we go to this tree line over here, I'm suspicious on this tree line. We found a fair bit of ordnance down there where that tree line is, and I'm wondering, is that why they left it? I know one of the Mills bombs came out of pretty much straight over there, and that's where we left it, and that's where the cops came and blocked off this road that's just behind me. Probably straight ahead on the other side of that little tree line down there is where we found a couple more grenades down there, and a little bit further down that hill. Right down the bottom of that hill down there was a creek bed, and it was dried up, and we found a really big strong magnet tied to some rope. So somebody must have been magnet fishing in that creek at one stage. So people have been actually coming here for a lot longer. The locals would have known this was a military base. I live, about an hour away, so, and my dad's was never into all this sort of stuff, so unfortunately I didn't know until I was after 30 years old. Anyway, off to the next spot, and you can totally see this was all, that shed in the distance there, that was never there. That's actually where everyone used to park their motorbikes, and everyone would go riding their motorbikes from there. That was never there in the good old days. Okay, and it was pine plantation as far as you could see into those hills over there. That's the size of the base. I don't know if you've seen in the other video the legend where it said miles. The base was about 6 miles long, then it stopped for a little bit, then continued down closer to the river for about another mile or so. So this was actually quite a big base, and the base does go all the way to those mountains back there. So this was a huge base. There was live firing here. I believe behind me on the other side of the road is where they fired off the mortar rounds. There was a mortar range over there. But I think the next stop I'll go to the old rifle range. Cool. Okay. So I'm on the side of the road, and here's a line of trees here, and this is where the old rifle range used to be. I'll just pan around here quickly. And if I can, this is an iPad, so it's a little bit harder than a phone, but if I can zoom in. Just down there, it drops off, there's a big washed out creek. I'll go have a look at it in a minute. But that was the edge of the rifle range. And down in that creek, we uncovered a couple old shovels, some old picks, a couple of axes, and lots of barbed wire and stuff was dumped down there. This place is like unbelievably cleared. Big clumps of lantana right there. There was a tree line that probably went. There was a tree line that went for about 100 feet, 30 meters in here. Pretty much just on the other side of that clump of lantana and all the logs that are pushed over, and that was the firing line. And those big gum trees in the background there, that was kind of the edge of the rifle range, and the rifle range kind of went east in that direction over there. I'll try and get a better shot and I'll come back. Okay, so I'm on the side of the road, and here's a line of trees here, and this is where the old rifle range used to be. I'll just pan around here quickly. If I can, this is an iPad, so it's a little bit harder than a phone, but if I can zoom in. Just down there, it drops off, there's a big washed out creek. I'll go have a look at it in a minute. But that was the edge of the rifle range. And down in that creek, we uncovered a couple old shovels, some old picks, a couple of axes, and lots of barbed wire and stuff was dumped down there. This place is like unbelievably cleared. Big clumps of lantana right there. There was a tree line that probably went. There was a tree line that went for about 100 feet, 30 meters in here. Pretty much just on the other side of that clump of lantana and all the logs that are pushed over, and that was the firing line. And those big gum trees in the background there, that was kind of the edge of the rifle range, and the rifle range kind of went east in that direction over there. I'll try and get a better shot and I'll come back. By the way, I just got my first bit of Camp Cable rifle range punk wood. Oh sorry, fat wood. I've already got some punk wood in the car, but now I'm right on the fence. So pretty much where that big grey gum tree is there, that's where the creek is, or just on the other side of the creek. And again, I'm pretty much right on this clump of lantana. I betcha you could swing metal detector in there and still get stuff. Look at all, that's just like fat wood and punk wood galore, that pile there. There's quite a few tons of it. You can, I don't know if you can see, but it looks like there's some tin over there, possibly. Yeah, what a shame. This is all, they put a substantial fence in here. A couple of the other entrances back up that way there, down this direction here, they put massive heavy duty fences in there. I'm assuming They're sick and tired of the owners of all this land. These are developers. This is all getting full on developed. This is like criminal basically. But yeah, they probably got sick and tired of the cops whinging and sooking and carrying on that people are finding UXOs, unexploded ordnance, boo-hoo. Well, I thought that we were actually doing the community a favour. Anyway, I'll film something when I've got something better to show you, thanks. There's some angry ants defending that fatwood. I just broke that in half to try and grab it, and that's what come out of it. I better move along before they get on me boots. Okay guys, I'm down at the creek here. There's like heaps more fatwood just waiting to be plucked, but it is on the other side of this creek. I suppose that's a little loophole in the fence there. So my thoughts are that if that's not done properly and you can easily get through it, all's fair in love and war. Now up there in the distance you can see some big power lines. Most people who drive down this way would know where those power lines are. I guess that I'm about quarter of... No, that's probably more like... Oh, there's another one over there. It would be over quarter of a mile. It's probably about 600 metres, my guess would be, to that power line. But anyway, I've always used this creek as the marker. So you got the power lines, the creek, and straight away the big cleared field. That's the old rifle range. And on my aerial photograph that I've got, I believe those photos were taken, oh geez, I can't remember how many feet it was, but you can actually see the mounds over there, and it looked like it was 200, maybe 100, 200 or 300, and then 600 yards. And you could actually see all the bullet scrapes in the ground where people have been missing or falling short of their targets. And then you can see all the scrape lines behind the targets as well. And then there's a whole bunch of scrape lines further down, probably about 800 yards down, where the trajectory must have been impacting the ground. But yeah, what a massive shame this place isn't open. I don't know how many thousands and thousands. This must have been at least 10,000 acres easily. You know, it's like I said earlier. Oh, sorry, that's what I wanted to tell you. I took a photo of the cemetery, and I stopped there and I was going to take some footage from the cemetery, and I couldn't find any of the graves. I believe there's some Marines graves that were, or Marines were buried there, and from memory, I believe there was 14 US servicemen that were buried there. Some of them died from malaria, some of them died from wounds they received fighting in New Guinea. I think it's a massive, massive shame that they were either buried with unmarked graves, or their graves have been stones or whatever's gone. That's not real fitting. I know that the Civil War group that I was with, and Sons of Confederate Veterans, and there was another thing for the Yankees, if they were buried in Australia and we located their graves, the US Army or some US department, they would actually send us a headstone, or they would pay someone over here to build one, and our little reenactment group would go and install organise installing the headstone to say that they were a veteran of the Civil War. So maybe it's worth looking into, and if there are Marines and other service veterans at least that are buried here, you know, be pretty fitting if maybe the this arsehole company that bought all this land and destroyed it, and maybe they should fit the bill and put some tombstones in up there for those veterans. Okay guys, cool. How many times do I have to hit that fucking button? Righto, if you guys listen closely, in between the cars, you might be able to hear some sizzling and crackling. That's the power lines. It's lightly raining here at the moment, and I'm standing on top of a big ant mound. Anyway, this is just to show you those mountains in the background down there. That was the edge of the base, and pretty much, yeah, all the way down there, like quite a few, probably from here at least 4 miles down that way. And that tree line over there in the distance, that's that creek that I was standing at before. So you can see there's the road right there. That's that tree line, that's that creek that I was at. The rifle range was just on the other side there. Yeah. And that was it. And the base goes, I've got just total bush next to me. Anyway, there's not really much to see anymore, unfortunately, guys, but anyway, this is just the location. This is also another entrance. This is also another entrance point just right here where everyone used to pull off, park their car and go motorbike riding and four-wheel driving. How those days are long gone. Oh well, it was fun growing up in the 80s and early 90s, and I could just imagine how much better it would have been before that. Okay, see you guys.